going on, guys? Today's talk is going to be about sleeper cars. Love the initial startup. Warm starts are always, cold starts are always the best, not warm starts. Today, I want to talk about my favorite sleeper cars. I'm not saying everyone's going to agree with this list, but some of them might not be sleeper cars to some people. Some they might be a performance vehicle, sold as a performance vehicle, but the cops, when they pull you over in them, they don't usually know what they are. Sometimes they do, and you get a cool cop, they'll sometimes like to ask you questions about them, because I owned a few. I owned one at least. But to start the list off, I'm going to start it off with the 91 Cyclone. It was one of the vehicles I owned for a while. I got a lot of tickets in it. And very fun truck. They're fast. Stock, they're pretty quick. I mean, they weren't that too fast because I bought mine in the late 90s when the LS1 happened to appear on the scene, and the LS1 would pretty much eat the Cyclone like it was nothing. So, but in the time period, Mustangs and most cars wouldn't keep up with it. Also, another car that I put on the list, really quick to put on the list, is the SHO. The SHO came out in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and when they came out, that was a pretty hot car. I mean, it was fast for what it was. Hell, I remember some guys with SHOs could keep up with Mustangs at the time. For a V6, a Yamaha motor, that's moving. And after a while, I think Ford started building the motors, but in all of this, SHO was a very impressive car in the day, and they still are. I mean, if you get a newer SHO with a 3.5, they're fast, really fast cars, and they're fun to drive. I wish Ford would have kept them around and just, made it a little bit more sporty so people would buy it. I think people would have loved it. Now they're talking about an SUV. Why not just keep the SHO around? Also, next car's on the list, probably one of my only import cars I'm going to talk about today. Is the early 90s MX6. When Ford collabed with Mazda, they came up with a Probe, and that Probe was a turbo, in which I won't put the Probe on the list because it's a sports car looking, but the MX6 kind of looked like a grandma car. It was a two-door. They called it a Mazda GT, MX6 GT, I think, but they had a turbo, and those cars were quick back in the day. I remember driving them. My friend had one. It was a fast little car for what it was, a four-cylinder with a turbo. It got up and ran. All it was the Probe motor, but it was in an MX6, but it ran pretty good. I'll put a clip of it, what it looks like here, for you guys to see. The next one I'm going to put out is the anything with a 3800 Buick motor or Pontiac motor that was like a Grand Prix, like the GTP had. Those cars were fast, but the Grand Prix, I'm not going to put it on the list because it looks like a sports car and everybody knew what it was, but you could get those in like the Buick Regals and stuff, and those cars would move. I'm telling you, that supercharged 3800 would run. So that's going to go on the list. Also on the list, next is going to be the Lightning, the Ford Lightning. Boy, that truck would run good. Definitely in the day. Now they're not as fast as what they used to be, but the Lightning can definitely go on the list. It didn't look like it was going to be fast. It was sporty looking. I'm not going to say it wasn't a sporty looking truck, but man, did they run. Also, next on the list will be the SRT8 or the SRT10 Viper truck. If you debadge that truck, it looks like a regular Ram, and just on a nice set of wheels. And man, that thing they fly. Definitely the two-door ones with the stick shift, they really run good. But I mean, that's back in the day. Today's standards are not as fast as what they used to be. I see EcoBoost beat them. Hell, my Raptor beat one. But back in the day, they were really fast for what they were. Also, any car from the 80s, your Caprices, your Impalas, anything that came with a Chevy 350, easy sleepers, easy to make fast. Granted, they weren't fast stock, but you can make them fast real quick. I mean, they just put some parts in them, they're going to be, you can make them really quick. Fun cars, like a family boat, but you could get them up to run really good. One of my favorites that I've owned a lot of, and I really liked them, and I wish Ford would bring back, is the Thunderbirds. Anywhere from like 85 to 96 Thunderbirds were great cars. I had 4 96 94 to 96 Thunderbirds. And a couple of them had gears in them, 410s, and they really woke up with the J-Mod 410s. The car would really run good for what it was. I mean, today's standards, yes, they're not fast, but back then, you could run with a Mustang, a stock Mustang, definitely the automatic Mustangs, and beat them. Not the stick shift Mustangs. Most stick shift Mustangs, if you guys knew how to drive them, they would beat you. But the automatic Mustangs back in the day were slouches. Anybody that owns an old AOD and an AODE knows how slouchy they were. They were pretty slow off the start. But it's easy to make a Mustang quick, and everybody knows that. You can put gears and shit in and make them quick. But the Thunderbirds I liked a lot, and the Cougars. The Cougars was the same thing as the Thunderbird, just in a Mercury platform. Great cars. Now I'm going to touch on a grandpa car, and I'm going to put a picture up here for you guys to see right here. '93 to '98 Mark 8s. I had one. I had a '98, and it was, or 90. I had a '96 maybe, but it was fun. Great car, Cobra motor, and hard to beat. I mean, definitely for what you get. And nowadays you can buy them so cheap. You're getting a Cobra motor that weighs, you know, just 300 or 400 pounds more, depending on the package you pick. But fun cars to drive. They're fast. They're comfortable. Very nice inside. The only thing that sucks with those cars is the air ride suspension sucks on them. And they have electrical issues, but besides that, I mean, typical. You can fix everything that's wrong with it, but they're fun cars to drive because they have a Cobra motor. Next on the list, after the Mark 8, will be the Malibu, not the Malibu, but the Monte Carlo SS's in the early 2000s with the 5.3 motors. Those cars, you can make them 400 horsepower at the wheels with a cam and a tune. Cam, heads, and a tune. Sometimes you need to swap the heads. You can just leave the heads and port them and polish them. The heads flow good in the GM. Those cars are really, really good cars to pick up and get your hands on. They don't look fast, but if you get the right one, the SS, they're fast cars and easy to make fast. What else can I classify as a sleeper? The Jeep Cherokees. Some of those Jeep Cherokees back in the day, you could get those and really make them fast. People don't realize what motor's in them, but I forget what it is. But those things would really get going. I mean, you can get a Jeep Cherokee to run like a Mustang. Another car, this is a Japanese car I'm going to put on the list, is the Nissan Maxima. Boy, the Nissan Maxima, factory stock. They're fast cars. Hard to touch a Nissan Maxima. I think some Maximas will beat the 350Z even. I mean, I've ridden in Maximas, it's like, holy shit, they're fucking fast for what they are. They're a fast car. Let me see what else I got on my list here, guys, that I'm trying to think. This is all off the top of my head, so just bear with me here for a second. I'll be right back. Another sleeper car that's a really nice looking car, I wish I could have had when they came out, I always wanted one, is the Mercury Marauder. The Mercury Marauder, I just love the way they look. I loved Ford back then when they were making cars like that. That was around the time of the Lightning, I believe, and all them cars. They were coming up with some cool stuff at the time. And the Marauder wasn't a slouch. It was a little heavy for the motor, but what you can do to that Marauder, you know, just with a supercharger is unreal. I mean, you can get that car in the 11s, 10s, and it's a four-door family car. Another great car to put on the list. That's another one for my list. Another one I'm going to add to the list, and anybody can do this. Anybody can go rent one. It's actually probably cheaper than renting a rental car. Is go to U-Haul and rent one of these new GMC. Trucks. They don't govern them or nothing like that. They're quick trucks. I'm telling you, I've rented them a couple times, and for what they are, man, they're quick trucks. It's a GMC 1500 long bed, but man, they put down some impressive power for what they are. I mean, it's a stock 5.3, but they run really good for what they are. That's what I'd suggest. If you guys want to have some fun on the weekend, go rent a GMC 1500 Chevy or GMC 1500 from U-Haul and beat the hell out of it on the weekend. They ain't gonna know. Who's gonna say anything? Another one I'm going to add to the list is any F-150 with an EcoBoost. The 2.7 or the 3.5. The trucks are impressive. They let you boost launch them pretty high. If you get a four-wheel drive, so don't spin, you can get out of the hole real fast, and the trucks are impressive for what they are. I mean, they're not super heavy anymore. They're definitely the aluminum ones, but with a simple tune on an EcoBoost, man, they can be in 12 seconds. I mean, that's fast. If you guys want to see some, go down to my page and check them out. There's guys that I race with them, and there's guys I have recorded at the track. They're no joke, them EcoBoost trucks. They're fast trucks. I'm going to put that one on the list too. Another one I'm gonna add to the list is the Cadillac with the Northstar Motors. Back in the 90s, those Northstar Motors are really fast cars. Granted, they kind of look sporty, kinda. They're still grandpa-looking car, kinda. But they're they don't look nothing like a CTSV. Everyone knows a CTSV when they see it. It looks like a stealth bomber. It's gonna be fast. But those STSs and the other models that they had Cadillac made were fast cars. I'm getting on the freeway here, guys. An idiot wanted to pinch me in. But so that's another one. I'm gonna add the Cadillac to the list. Cadillacs are fast. The old Cadillacs back in the day, even in the 80s, if you got a Cadillac with the V8 motor in it, or the 70s, those cars were fast. They were very potent vehicles. Big boats, hard to stop. You know what I mean? They floated a lot, but Cadillacs, most Cadillacs were fast back in the day. Definitely if you got, when they changed to the front engine, front wheel drives, they got a little slower. But if you got your hands on a hold of a rear wheel drive Cadillac, they would run pretty damn good. That's another one I'm adding to the list. One more I'm gonna add to the list. Is the Dodge Dakota, the 5.9 RTs from the mid-2000s. Those trucks were pretty damn fast. My buddy had one here, and then I know a kid back home, I don't even think his was the 5.9. But the damn truck was fast for what it was. It's a, you know, a Dakota, like a smaller version, but they were pretty fast. And I remember when Shelby or somebody came out, maybe Hennessy or Shelby, they came out with where they supercharged them, and those things were pretty fast. I remember seeing them at the track. If you want to look something up that's cool, maybe I'll put a picture of them right here for you guys to see. But they were white usually with the blue stripes, or blue with the white stripes. But they were fast vehicles for what they were. Definitely back then. They were pretty cool to look at too. They had nice wheels, and I remember I always liked those. So that's another one I'm adding to the list. So I'm pretty sure I covered all the sleepers that I can think of today. Maybe there's more. If you guys have any more, I'd appreciate you guys leaving them in the comments. What's your favorite sleeper? I hope you guys like this topic. I was trying to come up with stuff that's more entertaining instead of always talking about my car, about problems with vehicles, or you know, what I'm watching on YouTube. So this will be it for today, the sleeper talk. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you think about today, and leave your favorite sleeper of all time. I mean, if you have one that's different than what I picked, that's pretty cool, I think. I'd like to know what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more.